Andrew Cuomo decided to deliver his anti-Mamdani message to the ladies of The View.
I am the last person President Trump wants as mayor of New York City because he dealt with me as governor.
So he would like Mamdani to win.
Mamdani is a gift for him. A gift. It's good for Donald Trump because it's the excuse he needs to take over New York, which he said he will do.
Joining me now to react is Fox News contributor Joe Concha. Joe, what do you think about those comments?
I can't believe The View had a Democrat on their show. That's a very rare thing, Carly, of course. But overall, it's I guess, funny Tuesday. But look, I wish that Cuomo. I don't wish anything with Cuomo. I think he was a horrible governor of New York. Obviously, New Yorkers feel that way as well because he's trailing by anywhere from 15 to 20 points behind Mamdani, even without Eric Adams in the race. So we're running out of runway here, Carly, where I don't see how this gap gets closed. It seems like this race has been stuck with Mamdani with a huge lead for a very long time. And Cuomo, quite frankly, is just not the brand that New Yorkers want right now. They want something different, very different, and they're going to get very different with a communist like Mamdani. We see that poll there with Fox up 14 points. Even if that's wrong by, 5, 6, 7 points, Mamdani still wins quite easily. So that's where we're at this point. You could be looking at the next mayor of New York, a 33-year-old who's never held a real job in his life, running the most complex financial capital of the world. Go figure.
Oh, and by the way, he's a socialist. So there's also that. Cuomo also said that Trump will take a picture of Mamdani and run around the country and say, here's what's happening to the Democrats. He's not wrong about that. And then in the deep future, we could talk about what Mamdani means for the midterms.
Well, that's precisely right. Mamdani, AOC, Bernie, they will be the faces of the Democratic Party because they are the faces of the Democratic Party. And if far-left Democrat socialist is what the brand is, that may work in New York or Chicago, Minneapolis or Portland. It does not work in the rest of the country, in the states that matter, that will decide the midterms. And that's a brand that the Democratic Party, I'm sure their leaders definitely do not want, but they're so afraid of the far left of the party that they're not willing to take on these folks because they own social media. They own media, actually, in general, because they're getting the most airtime right now.
Okay, so let's talk about the New Jersey gubernatorial race. And Jack Ciattarelli received some good news when it comes to the Democrat stronghold county of Hudson County, which is where you live, and getting an endorsement from Hudson County. How big of a deal is this?
Yeah, I lived in Hudson County for 13 years, Carly, a little town called Hoboken, New Jersey, home of Frank Sinatra, the birth of baseball. You could go on and on as far as Hoboken being an awesome town. And I can tell you, having lived there and having lived in Hudson County in general, that is as deep blue as it gets in New Jersey. And if Jack Ciattarelli is getting that sort of endorsement, that tells me that his coalition is only growing among black voters, among Latinos. Obviously, Republicans love Jack Ciattarelli. He nearly won 4 years ago when no one gave him a chance. Here's the bottom line. Mikey Sherrill has some real problems right now. She cannot explain, she almost speaks like Kamala Harris at this point as far as word salad. How did you make $7 million after you got into Congress and sat on the Armed Services Committee when you were trading defense stocks? That does not look good. Voters of all stripes don't like that. And why weren't you allowed to attend your own graduation ceremony at the Naval Academy in Annapolis due to a cheating scandal? So after years of Democratic rule, Carly, where we have the highest property taxes here in the country, I can attest to this personally, some of the highest income taxes in the country. My electric bill looks like an area code every month at this point. That's how bad that is. When you put all this together, Jack Ciattarelli right now seems like he has the momentum at the right time with only 3 weeks to go until the election.
Right, 3 weeks to go when we could have a socialist running New York City and a Republican running the state of New Jersey, the neighboring state. Go figure. Joe, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.